The problem is that most people, there are several problems. Most people, they don't select early in their life a domain or two or three or four that they are going to build some deep experience in. Instead, what they do is just sort of dabble around, and they don't have a plan for developing deep experience in anything. And because of this, they end up working in a wage slave job at Starbucks for the rest of their life. And they can't break free of it because to earn good money in society, either you got to be a scammer or some sort of manipulator, and you got to exploit the money out of somebody, which I don't recommend you do. I've talked about this in my how to escape wage slavery episode. But the other way is that you have to actually add value. So in this method, you're leeching value from the world. You're basically stealing. This is the stealing method. And by the way, this is how the majority of the money in the world is actually made, is through stealing. The majority of the money and wealth in the world is stolen. And who is it stolen from? It's stolen from those people who actually provide positive value in the world. And the way they provide positive value is they develop some sort of deep skill in something. And how do they develop that deep skill? Through massive experience and trial and error and experimentation and failure. And that's why it's much easier to steal than it is to do something constructive and creative, because when you steal, the people who steal are the ones who actually don't have any deep expertise in anything except maybe stealing itself, which is sort of a paradox. But and you can develop deep expertise in stealing. You can get very, very sophisticated and clever with stealing and hiding the fact that you're even stealing anything. You can make stealing look like it's an art form or some sort of positive act. But anyways, we're not going to get into that. Let's focus on something positive here. So how do you positively create something in the world? Well, basically, to earn more money, you need to have higher skills. This is what's preventing you from getting a high-paying job, is your lack of advanced skills. If all you know how to do is sweep the floor and scrub a toilet, then that's the kind of job you'll get. If you have some better skills, like maybe you know how to take restaurant orders and serve food in a friendly manner, then you'll become a waiter and you'll earn more than scrubbing toilets. And then if you have some higher skills than that, like maybe you know how to build a website through HTML coding and JavaScript and whatever, PHP, then you'll earn even more than a waiter. Because that's, you're getting into high creativity now with those kinds of skills, and those skills take time and effort to build. It's difficult to learn all these different programming languages. And then the more complex the programming language is, the more you're going to get paid for it. So you're going to get paid more for knowing PHP than you will for HTML, because PHP is harder to learn. And you're gonna earn more as a C++ programmer than you probably will with PHP, because C++ is harder to do, generally speaking, and you can do more with it. It's a more robust language. There's more stuff you can do, although you can earn quite a lot through PHP as well. But anyways, this is sort of what you find, is that the higher the skill you can develop in a thing, of course, it also depends how valuable the thing is sort of innately. Some skills you can develop very highly, like maybe you can develop the skill of poetry very highly, but poetry isn't very marketable, so you're not going to earn that much as like a poet. Although you could become a world-class poet, if you build your skill high enough. But generally speaking, if it's a skill you're building in something that people want to buy, not like poetry, like music, film, writing, programming, these are all great fields that you could earn millions of dollars in if you really, really, really develop your skill. The problem is that, of course, it's very difficult and labor intensive and even monotonous to develop skill in these things. And it takes years, and really a decade or more to develop a really solid skill in any one of these fields. And this is really the thing that is holding you back the most, I think, from succeeding in your life, is that you simply haven't been deliberate about training yourself and practicing enough to develop skills to high levels. And the reason this is because it takes a long time to develop these skills, and it takes commitment, and you have to chip into it, invest into it over a long period of time, every single day, every single week, for months and for years and for a decade or more. And in general, people are very bad at doing that without any kind of support structure. So like the reason you have mathematical skill is because you spent 12 years in school being forced to learn mathematics. The reason you have language skills, whatever you have, writing, speaking, is because, again, you spent 12 years forced into this system of sort of factory farm education where you were forced to learn the writing skills and the speaking skills. And still, even after these 12 years, your writing skills probably suck because writing is a very, very deep skill set to build. And school doesn't teach it barely at all. I mean, it teaches like the basics, but it doesn't teach you how to be a great author of anything. That's something you have to do on your own. And so, see, the problem is that people are very poor at coming up with a vision of who they want to be, what they want to achieve in life, like 10 years, 20 years down the road, and then working towards that every single day. They simply lack the clarity to do that. And without the clarity, what's going to happen is that you're going to like dabble around and stuff. You're going to do a little bit of writing for a week, then you get bored with it. As soon as it gets difficult, as soon as you see how shitty of a writer you are, you're going to quit. And then you're going to say, oh, maybe writing is not my thing. I'm going to go do music. And then you try music for a month, and then you realize how bad you are at that, how difficult that is. And then you quit that, and then you go and you play some video games. And then you say, oh, maybe I'll become a video game developer. And then you try your hand at that, and then you realize, holy fuck, video game development is harder than writing and music combined. It's way harder than both of those things. And then you move on to something else, and you keep doing this, but you don't have anything. See, you haven't actually built anything in your life. And therefore, you're a rather useless human. You can't actually create something amazing. That's the fundamental problem. You want to know why you're poor, if you're poor, and why you struggle to get rich? It's really quite simple. It's not because capitalism is holding you back and you live under some oppressive system. No, it's more like just you literally don't know how to create anything amazing. You can't discipline yourself to do it. You can't motivate yourself to do it. You don't have the vision to do it, and you don't have the skills to do it. And you don't have the experience to do it. And you're not able to persevere past the failure that will come in trying to do that thing. Because even if you have high skills and you attempt to do something that's creative and amazing, you're going to run into a lot of failure, even with high skills. And you have to have the ability to persevere past that and to do it anyways, and to actually generate that result. So what I notice is that people are very bad. The average person is very bad at generating any kind of amazing result, but they're very good at generating mediocre results. Like monkeys at a typewriter, just punching keys. They're pretty good at that. And so that's why most people end up working at these wage slave grinding jobs, like at the Amazon warehouse, packaging boxes or waiting tables or scrubbing toilets or doing some sort of menial administrative work, stuff like that, right? Because these jobs don't require a lot of skill, or the skill they require is pretty easy and quick to learn. You can learn it in 6 months. Whereas the kind of skill you need to be a brain surgeon takes maybe 10 or 20 years to learn. And it costs a lot of money to learn it too. Likewise, learning the skill of how to build a business. This takes years and decades to perfect that skill. And it costs a lot of money too. You need courses, books, trainings. You need social connections. You need to talk to the right people, learn from them. A lot of these skills you can't just learn totally from scratch by yourself. You really need to network with people who are in that industry, who know some of the tricks of the trade that you can learn with them, from them. Otherwise, it's going to take you too long to learn it yourself.